Culture Talk is brought to you by Horizon, brewed for 24/7, a proudly Namibia Breweries Limited product.
99 FM, your inspiration station. I don't know why this song of the weekend is making me feel some type of way. It's called After Hours, and I was about to start crying. 1:30 here on Hitsville, and you heard correctly. It's time for Culture Talk. And as I mentioned, I am joined in studio today for the segment by Namibian model and content curator. I'm just going to call him Reginaldo because I don't want to mispronounce his surname, but he's in the studio right now. We're talking all things Blackest King. You probably have seen his face in the paper. I'm wondering why. What happened? So, Reginaldo, what's up? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining us here at 99.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Now, listen, let's get straight into you being a part of Blackest King. In what capacity were you involved in this visual album?
Okay, so basically, I just assisted with casting and basically assisted with directing the whole of Ahimbas in the Blackest King.
Yeah, and how does that make you feel to be a part of something so big? Because for those of you who haven't seen the Blackest King visual album, it's very colorful, very African, and very amazing that you from Namibia got to be a part of this production. So what was your feeling like? How did you get to this point of being a part? And I think I read something about it in the paper. A friend of yours recommended you or something like that. Can you just run us through how it came to be?
Okay, great. So growing up, right, we come to a point where we need to realize a lot of things that we're taught that is correct is actually not correct, and a lot of things that we think isn't correct is correct. So I came to a point where I realized a lot of problems that we have in the world, especially for us African people, is the mere fact that we've been stripped of our dignity and our identity, and that's why we have issues. People at large. So with that, then I started with my first project. I was here a while back where I was doing an art exhibition which was focused on the Himba people. Why? Because before the West came and told us that you are not good enough or the way that you dress is not good enough, what were we? We used to dress like the Himba people. Yeah. So I'm a Bantu, I'm a Vambu. So all the Vambus, the Heros, the Damaras, they all come from basically, we used to dress like Himbas. Just like you find the Kwekwe, so a lot of the Chrikwas, the Namas, and the Coloureds, they come from the Bushmen, and they used to dress like the Bushmen. Yeah. So basically, there was a point of reference whereby our culture was still pure. It wasn't untapped. It wasn't basically ruined by the West. So then I started doing my work with the Himba ladies, and I did my first exhibition. Yeah. And as I continued working with them, and I constantly put them on my social media, plus a friend of mine who also did major work on this project, Blackest King, he hit me up and was like, no, there are people that want to shoot a movie. I was like, oh, okay, people want to shoot a movie of me. And he's like, no, it's not you, actually. I was like, oh well. It's the Himba ladies. Okay, so I got their papers, and then we flew down to SA. It was in Durban. So we were moving to a remote location. So then I was actually scared. I was like, what did I get myself into? Is this like human trafficking?
Yeah, what's happening? What's going on?
Because, I mean, I didn't get a whole, they didn't tell me much what's happening. So we get there, and we're here in KwaZulu-Land. And then we get on set, and then I check the logo, and I'm like, okay, this is from the Beehive.
Yeah. So what was your thought at that moment when you realized that this was going to be for Blackest King? What was your oh my gosh, this is happening right now? What was your thinking at that point?
Well, I was like, okay. Pinched myself, and I was like, oh, okay, wow.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here, and we're doing this. Yeah. And then I got a briefing on what's happening, and then I saw that it stuck with my ideology and what I believed in. So I was actually impressed, and it just told me something like, when you do something from the bottom of your heart and you're passionate about what you're doing, because I was doing my personal arts exhibitions where I'm trying to basically decolonize minds and re-educate people, especially black people, that they need to take back their identity and their dignity. And because I was doing this from the bottom of my heart, all of a sudden I'm just like, oh, okay, here's Beyonce.
Yeah. Here I am in the Beehive.
In the Beehive, and I'm gonna be credited in the Beehive. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, tell us a bit about your art. You were talking about your exhibitions. Are you gonna be having any of that soon this year?
I'm not sure this year, but obviously in future I will. But I feel like as human beings we're supposed to be activists. you're supposed to English. You're supposed to reflect everything on your morals, right, and what you believe in. And you never know who's watching and who's looking up to you. And so you need to always advocate for it, you know? So I'm always going to push in a direction where I feel I'm proud of myself and I am fulfilling that I think is within my destiny, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I don't want to really get into your modeling right now because it's not really the right segment for that. But, you know, it says Namibian model. Are you still focusing on that part of, you know, of your goals or of your plans as a creative? Or are you now focusing more on, you know, again, making people understand that culture is everything and that, you know, bringing back that sense of identity and belonging, and of course understanding that we come from this place and not being, you know, sort of like ashamed of, you know, where we come from. So are you focusing more on, you know, establishing that, or is it more of, you know, you're just seeing where things are going?
You know, I feel your talent comes from you. I won't lie, like, for example, oh shit, my phone. Sorry. Sorry, my language, sorry, apologies. My last arts exhibition, right, it was focused on myself because I'm telling this from my point of view, from how I perceive the world. So us as human beings, right, there's all of these impulses that come to you that basically make you see light, makes you feel things, make you hear things. So you take this in and then you create the perception of reality, or other people create this perception for you and they'll tell you, this is what's supposed to be nice, this is not what's supposed to be nice. And because us as human beings, we acquire things, it shifts. So basically you'd like something not because you really like it, but you'd like something because other people make you perceive that as to be nice. So when I tell my story, I tell my story from my perspective. So I focus on myself within my artwork as well. But I mean, if I come to a point where basically I have to create an art piece and I am not going to be the center of the artwork, by all means, then I have to focus on the Himba ladies.
You want to be more behind the scenes as opposed to being in front of the camera. Is that what you're saying?
Look, I'm made to be in front of the camera.
Also.
So I don't mind being in front and behind the camera. I mean,
either way.
If you're gifted to work on both sides, why not do it? You know.
I love that. So where can we, like, if you want to like get to know Reginaldo more, or if you want to know what you're getting up to, where can we follow you on social media?
I'm really active on my Instagram. Reginaldo Mar, Reginaldo M-A-R. It's one word. I'm not that vocal as I used to be on Twitter, but I try. So on Instagram, I'm always being myself. I'm always advocating for that.
So that's where people can like find Reginaldo and see what Reginaldo's being up to or getting up to. Reginaldo Mar.
Yes,
right? That's
word.
on Instagram, okay? And I wanted to ask one last question.
And on Twitter, it's Reginaldo_MAR.
Okay.
Capital M.
So same, but just the capital M and with an underscore. Okay. I wanted to ask, which song on the visual album is there? Can you specify on the song that your visuals are appearing in, or is it just in the whole film itself?
I haven't actually watched the visual album yet. I've seen pieces of it, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I won't lie.
So basically, what folks need to do is, if you want to see it, you're gonna have to watch the Blackest King.
Yes, and also I just want to mention, right? I just want to mention the whole story about Blackest King, and that's why I take so much pride in this. Is that it's not just pop culture. It's not just we're doing work with Beyonce. No, it's the message behind it, and just the message of how, because it's also the backstory is focused on the Lion King and how Simba basically lost his crown, and he lost his crown because his uncle, Scar, basically deceived him and made him lose his crown. And so it applies the same with us black people. So what happened is other people came and made us lose our crown, and they made us lose our identity, and they made us lose our dignity, and they told us that being black is not good enough, you understand? And so what happens when you do that? If you take something for what it naturally is, it then becomes a cancer. It's like a cell. right? A liver cell. If you tell a liver cell that you're not good enough as a liver cell, then what will it do? It will start behaving like something that it is not. And once it starts behaving like something that it is not, it doesn't act within its nature, and then it becomes a cancer, which is not good for the ecosystem. So currently this Blackest King is advocating for black people, for us to get back our dignity, our pride and identity. And no offense, it goes beyond that. It goes to a personal identity. It goes to you actually accepting yourself for who you are and what you are, because a human being is not perfect. As long as you're not harming other human beings, you're not killing, you're not starving other human beings, then you're doing good. And so this is just one big step for black people, and it's going to be a major step for human beings, because we have to come to a point where we realize that you need to be who you are and what you are. And when you are that, when your true self, I think I'm talking too much,
okay.
But when your true self actually sees and it identifies that it is, and it takes that in, you're acting within your nature, and then you will be in harmony with the ecosystem, you'll be in harmony with the environment, and then we'll have a lot of social problems. We won't have a lot of social problems because you won't be a cancer.
I love that. You were shy. You were shy when you came. Like, Trezor, I'm nervous. Look at him just, spitting knowledge on Culture Talk right now. Reginaldo, thank you so much for coming through, sharing with us your experience with working with the Blackest King, visual album and getting things together, and looking forward to seeing what else you get up to, in terms of curating art and curating culture, and making sure people still go back to who they are and know who they are and believe in who they are and work on that, because essentially as an individual, it's all about self-love, and if you don't love yourself, you cannot acquire all of these things.
Yes, you need to love yourself first before you can love other people.
Definitely. Reginaldo, thank you so much for coming through again.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me, Trezor.
And hoping to see you again soon here in
Likewise.
Culture Talk. Cool. Reginaldo in studio talking about his participation in Beyonce's Blackest King visual album. Like we mentioned, if you want to see